Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Welcome.
We had a bit of a hiatus there. I think, was it 1 week or 2 weeks?
Just one.
Okay. It felt like 2 weeks. I will say that. It was good. It was a good break. Today we have a guest.
We have our second guest.
Our second guest. Congratulations.
Thank you, ladies.
Welcome.
This is Tash Vince. Vince.
Yes.
It's very hard for me to say.
I was going to ask as well because I wasn't sure how to pronounce your last
Tash
name.
Vince.
Vince.
Yes, it used to be Vinceova, but the families during the Second World War actually had to flee the country. And when they did, they shortened their last names. So it was Vinceova switched to Vinci.
Interesting.
I love that.
What
That's
country was this?
That was Russia, Siberia.
Wow.
My dad is Siberian.
Wow.
That is very, very cool. I like that. I love Russian history, Russian culture, everything. So thank you for being here, Tash.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, ladies.
Okay. Before we jump into our session with Tash, let's just quickly do our cocktail because I don't want the ice to melt.
And it looks delicious.
So
and it smells delicious.
Today we're doing a French 75, which is a champagne cocktail.
Yum.
It's delicious. So you start with a shaker with ice. I've already squeezed my lemon. So you want some fresh lemon juice, about a half an ounce per drink. So that's just about 3 wedges of lemon.
Because we always use fresh here.
fresh.
Except that we actually don't
Except
because
for-
we always use the bottled.
But today
because
we
it's
did
faster.
use fresh. Okay, so then you take a half an ounce of simple syrup per drink, which seems like a lot. So I'm just going to do about an ounce for all of it.
Do a little bit more.
No, it'll be too sweet.
Okay. You're the bartender today.
Okay, so there's that. Then we're on the Empress Gin train. You can use any gin. I just had Empress Gin, so that's what we're using. And I think it's going to look really, really cool for these cocktails.
I think it's going to make a nice color because we've tried the Empress Gin before with lemon juice and it always gives it a little bit of that pink color.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
So we're doing 3 drinks, so 3 ounces, 1 ounce per drink.
That Empress Gin just smells delicious.
It looks gorgeous. I love that indigo color.
Me too.
Okay, so then you shake it because we don't want to shake the Prosecco. That would be very bad. So
Of course.
shake, shake, shake. Okay. So
I'm so excited.
probably easier to do it this way. So
Oh, that
look
is
at
a beautiful
that.
color.
look at that
Wow.
already.
And with a little bit of the lemon twist in there too, it looks really good. Really nice.
I hope this sounds good for you guys.
You got to put the microphone closer. I think we need
That sounds
We need a
delicious.
cocktail microphone specifically. down
Put
here
it on
for
the
all
list.
of
We
our-
need a separate microphone.
just for the cocktails.
Okay. Then you top it
We'll
off.
probably get that at the same time as we get our nail cam.
Yes.
Meaning
So
never.
Okay, so then you just top it off with Prosecco or champagne, whatever you want. We
Yum.
are using La Marca. Okay, I don't want that to.
This is very luxurious, ladies.
Honestly, these look delicious.
These do look.
I'm all about
delicious.
the Empress Gin right now. I was going to make margaritas my summer cocktail, and now I'm thinking Empress Gin is my
Why
summer
not
drink.
do
Absolutely.
Empress Gin margarita. No, that wouldn't work.
No,
No.
that would be gross.
Gin and tequila. Oh, these look
Maybe
so good.
not.
Thanks, Allie.
Yay.
Wow, these look incredible.
Okay.
Okay, now I would like to take a picture, please.
Oh, yes.
Because I like to post about our cocktails each week. So,
In our non-matching glasses. Sorry about that.
oh gosh,
Look at
those look so
that.
good.
Yum.
Whoa.
It would
Wow.
not. It wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't knock over something or spill something.
We didn't
so
knock over
We
it.
did.
that wasn't too
It
bad.
just popped right
Oh,
off.
it popped.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
lid
on
came
the
off
go.
of the
Oh
shaker.
my gosh, I love that. All right,
Okay, cheers.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Ooh, I'm
Cheers.
excited.
Yum. This looks delicious.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's
Delicious.
delicious.
Ooh, I'm glad I
Don't
didn't
smack
put
your
more
lips.
simple syrup.
Yeah, no, that's very, very good. Very refreshing.
Hey.
Not too sweet. Yes. Great job, Allie.
Thanks, Allie.
I will say the last couple of cocktails that you've made for me, I have definitely felt
gonna
them by
chop
the end of this
this up.
podcast. So I'm going to take it slow on this one. I've decided.
Okay, I'm just going to chop you up because we have some extra Prosecco.
I mean, we may as well. You don't want to waste it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. So,
Let's
Tash,
jump right into it.
Hi, ladies.
little bit about yourself, please. Who are you? What do you do? What's great about you? All that jazz.
Well, I am a hypnotherapist and a yoga instructor here in Nanaimo. I teach at Moto Yoga, Nanaimo Hot Yoga Studio.
Shout out to Moto.
Shout out. We're going to
Shout out
we'll
Moto.
tag you guys in
Yeah,
all of this.
please. And I also teach downtown at a new studio called Solace Wellness Center. It's right on the water.
I know where that is. I walked by there the other day.
Yeah, it's right
Where
next
is
to the
it?
Bastion, not the Coast Bastion, the actual
the actual
Bastion.
Bastion.
So they actually have ocean view for their treatment rooms.
Wow.
Okay, we walked by
so
it the
cool.
other day when we were leaving the Dinghy Dock Ferry.
Yep.
And I was going to be like, I've never really seen this building before. I've never noticed that it was here.
Mhm.
Okay, that is so cool.
Yeah, the building's very unassuming. You
Yeah.
can walk right past and not even notice it
I
at
walked
all.
I walked past it every day forever,
Right?
and never
Yeah.
knew it was
Yeah.
there.
So now I
Interesting.
just got to point it out to people,
Yes.
and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay, yes."
So, Tash, they do yoga classes there, or what kind of treatment?
Well, they do yoga and massage, and
Oh.
I think they do acupuncture and Reiki as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's more holistic center, which I really like.
Mhm.
How long have you been there for?
Well, they just opened, so
Oh,
like since the
gotcha.
end of April.
Wow.
Yeah,
And then how long have you been with Moto for?
12 years.
Holy.
Always in
Time.
Nanaimo?
I'm the senior teacher there because I've been there for a billion years. Did my training in Las Vegas, which was very
cool.
interesting. I don't think anyone can say they've had like
Yoga,
training in Las
Vegas?
Vegas.
No, doesn't really go together.
no, and they're intensive training, so we're there for over 30 days. So I was just like
Wow.
living in Vegas. It was pretty
Wow.
swanky actually for a yoga
No
retreat.
kidding.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, because there's lots of different places you can go and do those kinds of teaching retreats, right? Is that
Yes.
just one that they had that year? Do they do it every year there?
They do it every year, kind of anywhere that they can. So
Yeah.
right now they're like in Nicaragua, for example.
What?
But this was the one and only in Las Vegas for
That's-
Moto.
That is
Okay,
so cool.
so it's a Moto program essentially. that
Yes.
you're gotcha.
That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, and so for people who don't know, what is Moto?
Moto is a set series. It's a hatha yoga. Hatha means just like when you think of yoga without like the flows or anything like that or the deep tissue stretching, it's like your regular yoga.
Okay, got it.
But this series has been designed in a very intelligent way to help you move through the practice in like a healthy, structured way.
Okay.
Yeah, so the sequence is actually very intelligent and it's for beginners. But even though people have been practicing this sequence for like 12 years, they still don't feel like it's a beginning type of practice
Right.
because the more you do it, the deeper into the practice you get.
Right.
And so it becomes a little more detailed, when you practice something so often.
Mhm.
You just become so much more familiar with your body and the postures. And
Yeah.
so you're able to kind of like tune into the series
Okay.
a lot better. And that actually is what keeps it fresh and exciting.
I
Oh,
like that.
interesting. I guess that would make sense because especially if you are like a yogi and you're going to yoga regularly, yeah, you'd assume if you're doing the same class often, you'd get tired of it. So that's an interesting way to put it, that it is always kept fresh because you're just getting more in tune with your body and more flexible and
Mhm.
more in tune to those stretches. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I actually really like about it is that all of the students who go are pretty much regulars and have been going for the whole time I've been teaching.
Mhm.
And so I don't actually worry too much about cueing, like go into this posture, move your arm this
They
way and
kind of
that
flow
way.
into it.
Yeah, they know what to do. And so it gives me more time and space to actually teach what I want to teach, which is the yogic philosophy.
Hmm.
So that I have like more time in class to talk about like the yamas and niyamas, for example, these like moral codes that yogis want to live by on their path towards
Oh,
enlightenment.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it allows more space for that.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
So do you teach like one specific kind of yoga, or are you doing many different classes at
Yeah.
Moto?
We do have different styles going at Moto. I am trained for yin, which is like the deep tissue stretching,
Okay.
which we have there in the hot room, which is nice. But I also have a flow training. And so we offer flow classes as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
Yeah.
that's when you like continuously go into the next pose.
Yes,
right?
that's right. It's like breathe in, reach your arms up, breathe out, fold. Everything's on the breath.
Mhm.
Okay,
You don't
got it.
normally hold the postures for very long.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Whereas yin's the complete opposite. You get into one shape and you stay for like 5 minutes. You don't move.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I have not done enough yoga. I've been to a couple classes. Like I went with Sky when the very first time I met Sky, she was teaching, I think it was a hot yoga
We
class.
have to say who Sky is.
Sorry. Our friend Sky, one of my bridesmaids, Tash knows Sky really well through Modo because she's also a teacher at
Yeah.
Modo Yoga as well. And so the first time that I met Sky was when she lived in Langford and I went to one of her hot yoga classes and I had never been to yoga before. It's not really my thing, but I really enjoyed the class that she taught. And then I went again, maybe the beginning of COVID, I guess just before COVID. And it wasn't a hot yoga class this time though. I don't know which one it was, but I did really, really enjoy it.
Mm.
And I could see that being, I know lots of people that do it every single day. They swear by it. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter where they are, they travel, anything. They swear by it.
Absolutely. We have people come 6:30 a.m. every single morning.
Yeah.
I think those people are a little crazy.
That's so early.
You will never catch me teaching a 6:30 a.m.
No
yoga
kidding,
class.
No.
I think it's important to say though that, I know some people just kind of like, look against yoga in a way, but I've read so much about the different stretches and how much it helps your body in so many
Oh,
different ways, headaches, digestive issues, back issues. There's
Sleep issues,
Yeah.
anxiety issues.
Yes. There's lots of different things that you don't really think about that just a stretch of your muscle is going to help with that.
Absolutely. I have people who take time off from yoga and then they'll come back like maybe a couple of weeks or a month later. And they say that what they noticed the most while they were off that they didn't expect is how not relaxed they are anymore or how much their mind is going. And then when they come back to yoga, their nervous system slows down again, their mind is calm, and that's actually why they end up staying.
Yep. I could see that.
I think I need that.
Sometimes
I think we all need that.
think that too, because that's how I kind of feel. My brain is so overactive a lot of the times. I have a
Right.
hard time focusing
Yeah.
my brain or turning it off.
right.
So I could see
Exactly.
like a nighttime yoga class would help.
Yeah. One of my yin classes, I call it deep relaxation for a busy mind, where I basically just teach you how to meditate in the postures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
See, there's
That's
so many
awesome.
different things I didn't even know about.
There's
Hmm.
lots that we don't know about.
I guess that's very true. I meant yoga specific. But okay, so then how did that lead you into like the hypnotherapy side of things?
I was actually a hypnotherapist before I was a yoga teacher.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people who don't know what hypnotherapy is. So let's just like hypnotherapy for dummies.
Yeah,
Break it
well, I actually host group hypnotherapy workshops where I do talk a little bit about like what it is and how it works.
Okay.
I host it at the Modo Yoga Dufferin studio every second Sunday. And I just explain it as a way of accessing the subconscious mind so that you can reframe your thoughts, reframe any limiting beliefs. So hypnosis is kind of like a tool used to create suggestibility of the mind. So what I mean by that is we have different parts of our mind. We have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. And the subconscious
What is
mind,
this super conscious mind? You're
superconscious
gonna get
mind
there.
is kind of like, I don't normally talk about it too much
Okay.
because it doesn't particularly apply to hypno, but it's just it's the mind that it's almost like the beehive mind that we all have access to. Where like somebody's thinking, say I'm thinking about Cher one afternoon and then Cher calls me like an hour later.
yes, yes,
We've
yes.
tapped into that
Okay, got
superconscious mind.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so cool. I feel like I tap into that a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
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 That's really cool.
Well, I think we're all tapping into it a lot more because I think the vibrations are getting higher, just like energy vibrations,
Yep.
earth vibrations. And when they go higher, we are able to connect, almost like, telepathically in
Yeah.
that way, easier with each other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
the
sorry.
subconscious mind is
Yeah.
what hosts all of the belief systems that we have. And my clients come to me because they have negative or limiting beliefs, right? And so it's important for me to change those beliefs in their minds. And I can't do that through the conscious mind. So that's kind of like
tap into their subconscious.
you do, right? So the conscious mind is more like that talk therapy. You sit down with your counselor and you talk things out. That's all through the conscious mind. But in a way, it's limited because our belief systems aren't stored there. So you actually have to access deeper, the subconscious mind and get into those limiting beliefs from there. And that's the place where we can start to reframe those thoughts.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have anxiety and it's because of PTSD, something that happened, a few years ago, talking about it is really great, but it can only take you so far. We still need to access that PTSD, those moments, when the anxiety really started or triggered. And so as a hypnotherapist, I get them to relax. I put them into a trance, and then we go back to that time when they had PTSD. And we do something called reframing, where they actually just create a new memory around that situation that when they wake up, it actually just makes them feel better about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in your brain, you're actually creating new neural pathways in your brain. So there's like
to help you kind of cope with it almost.
Yeah. Well, and it's an actual like physiological change in your brain, which I think is really cool.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like healing your brain.
It's more like, I like to think of it. I mean, I don't call it healing. I call it just like reframing or reforming the brain.
Yeah, right. I could see that.
To what you want it to be.
This is interesting. So on Bling Empire, there was a scene where this is exactly what happened. One of the guys had been adopted when he was very, very young, and he was brought to the States. He was born in Korea, and he has, really not a whole lot of memories from his childhood, but he always feels very sad and has a lot of kind of trauma from those things, and it's affected the rest of his life. And so he goes and does hypnotherapy. And that's exactly what she did. Was she goes, okay, we're going to go back to when, you're 5, and now we're going to go back to your 4, and tell me the memory that you have, and explain the feelings and the thoughts and the smells and the sights and everything. And now how does that make you feel? Talk to me like you are that being at that time. And when he eventually came out of it, he felt completely different about it, and felt he had actually had closure of that moment and of those times. Yeah. It's crazy how your brain can do something.
It is. I know, it's like magic. Yeah. I love it. That's why I love this job. It's just like, I have this magical wand and I wave it and you tell me what you want your brain to think and I make it happen.
Well, it must feel very rewarding, I would assume.
It is. Yeah, definitely. A lot of my clients reach out later just telling me how I've changed their life, which is, there's no better reward.
No. Yeah. What kind of training did you go through for this type of work?
So I did my training through Island Hypnosis back in 2007, and it was a year-long program, but it's not like 5 days a week. It was just 8 hours a day on weekends. So it's not extensive training. It's also not considered counseling. You're just learning how to put somebody into a trance, and then using the information that they give you of how they want to feel when they leave, or what they want to believe or think when they leave. And then it's my job to make that happen through the suggestions and like my voice and all of that.
Wow, that's very interesting.
And you have a very soothing voice.
Thank you.
Well, and just a very calm demeanor in general, right? So I would assume it must be easy for people to gravitate towards you and talk to you, and you're very genuine and welcoming.
Yeah, so. They do.
Great career choice, Tash.
Thank you. What's funny, I was talking to my roommate the other day because we both love astrology. And so we were talking about the planet Mercury, which is the planet of communications. And I said, in my chart, Mercury is in Pisces. And Pisces is kind of like that dreamy, like fantasy type of sign. And so the way I communicate is like this dreamy fantasy way, right? And I'm like, it's literally true because I'm creating your dreams like while you're in trance, right? Wow. I just make up this kind of fairy tale experience for you to like dream through. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's mostly just storytelling.
It works though.
It does work.
So talk a little bit about some kind of courses that you're doing lately. I've been seeing kind of the stuff you've been doing on Facebook lately about just like, you'll obviously be able to talk about it better than I will, but kind of more singles and helping them find like the best you and loving your life for what you have. And
yes. Well, thanks for asking. I started a online program. It's called You Deserve Love, and it's for single ladies. We're just moving into our last week now. It's a 6-week program, and it's for single women who feel like there's a void in their life that needs to be filled by a man. And I don't believe that just because you're a single woman that you need to be in a relationship to feel whole or happy.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I had been kind of just chatting with like women that I know who are single, and they would like start crying, and I'd say, what's the matter? And they say, well, I'm lonely, or this guy on, the internet kind of rejected me, and And I said, why are you even pursuing a relationship? And, the answers are usually, because I want support, whether it's like emotional or even financial support. Some of the women would say that.
Or you want to feel validated almost.
For sure. Yeah. And just not be alone. Right. And I said, well, you don't need a relationship to feel good about yourself, and you don't need a relationship to find support. You can support yourself emotionally, and you can also reach out to your familial support, and your friend support systems. And that way you're not coming across as like, even desperate sometimes when girls go online or meet guys. It's kind of like, I needy, right?
Guys can smell that, and it's a turn off.
That's what I say. Yeah. So I developed this program because I've been single for 4.5 years now. I've never been on a dating site ever. I pretty much don't date. And when guys do ask me out, I usually say no.
All the power to you, Tash.
Well, I just know what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then when I see it, and then I'm like, yeah, great. But if not, I politely decline.
Yeah.
And then I just go on my merry way, and I'm living a very happy life. I had been in relationships my whole life. This is the first time I've ever been single for any extended period of time. And I got to say, like, it's the best life that I'm living right now. I don't have to check in with anyone. Normally, the relationships I did have were toxic too, right? Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm in a really happy relationship with myself, and I can come home to like a peaceful space, and not have to like worry about relationship. And it's been really, really nice and a really peaceful, independent time of my life. And I think a lot of women could also find that peace as well.
Absolutely.
So that's why I developed this program for single ladies. And it's funny because something really unexpected happened when I started advertising it on social media.
I was going to say
the men actually started reaching out.
Of course.
I kept noticing that you'd have all these comments of guys that were like, I feel the exact same way. Do you have anything for guys? And it's just people in general, right?
Yes, exactly. So I had a bunch of guys reach out and they said, when's the men's program? I was like, I'm coming soon.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah. So I collected some emails from some guys who were interested in, and we're thinking about doing a program in the fall.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to do another program for women, like a second one?
Yeah, I think I might do that in the new year.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have to just see how things go. I do like playing things by ear when possible, just because new opportunities do come up, like the men's one. That's not something I'd actually considered before. And so I'm actually really excited to do that program because I want to learn more about men and where they are coming from in relationship, not just to women, but themselves as well.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all going to learn so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talked about this. Oh, you weren't in my car when we were driving back from my stag, but we were talking about this in my car, just about how men and women perceive just situations in general, but most of the time relationships as well. And how a lot of the times couples specifically, when they go to somewhere like counseling, for instance, they're fighting about the same thing. Like they're talking about the same thing, but they can't communicate it in the right way.
Right.
And I think Jeremy and I have that problem sometimes where we just can't always communicate exactly what we're trying to say, and we end up like having this fight about something that we agree at the end of the day, you know?
Right.
And I can imagine that would probably really help you just with the courses that you're doing, as well as having maybe kind of like a women's course and then a men's course and then a women's course and then a men's course, because it all kind of is cyclical.
Right.
That's true. And then it's like, yeah, you'll learn something from the men's course that you can bring to the next
Apply.
women's course. And
Yeah.
then-
And apply it
And
all.
vice versa.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's very interesting. As soon as I saw that you had posted about that, I thought, what a great idea.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even my idea.
Oh, no.
That's so funny.
No, it's just the guys reaching out.
Yeah.
So I was like,
No.
oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
think society kind of, I'm always preaching on society. I'm always harping on society. I think society gives you this, especially as a woman, I think that you are constantly told that you have to find a man to be happy and
Exactly.
get married and have babies and do all these things.
White picket fence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like,
It's an illusion.
exactly,
Don't buy into it, people.
Exactly. Do what you need to do for yourself to be happy. And so I love that
Yes.
you're offering things like that to help people find that.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. I think you need to be single for a while to find out what it is that makes you happy,
Mhm.
Yeah.
what you want. I feel like sometimes, not always, but sometimes relationships can be a distraction from yourself,
Oh, 100%.
from your spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's taking that time alone, even if you're in relationship, ladies, like take some time out to yourself. Like go on a retreat, a
Yes.
yoga retreat, or, rent a space, rent a cabin in the woods, for
a
2
weekend.
nights or
Yeah.
whatever you can manage, just to connect with yourself, connect with spirit, and start to find out what it is that you truly need to be. I don't even like to use the word happy,
Yeah.
but content.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Find your contentment. And oftentimes it's not in relationship.
No.
It is in relationship with yourself,
Yeah.
not always with others.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. We had been, again, in my car on the way back from a stag. We were just talking about relationships a lot of the time. And one of my girlfriends, Melanie, shout out to Melanie, was talking about how a lot of the relationships that I have been up until this point, I was constantly searching for somebody to love me and validate me the same way that I was giving to them.
Mhm.
And I was doing everything that I could to be the type of person that I felt that they wanted me
Right.
to be,
Yeah.
not necessarily the person that I should have been.
Right. For you.
Right. And my last serious relationship that I had before Jeremy, I remember thinking, I was single for I think 3 or 4 years, maybe 3 years. And I remember thinking at some points, like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Why am I not that right person? Or why am I not in a relationship? What's wrong with me? What do I need to do for
Mhm.
myself? And it wasn't until I went traveling that I was by myself for 12 days doing what I wanted to do, going where I wanted to go on my own time. And it really started to make me think, I don't fucking need anybody.
No, you don't.
Like this is my life. I can do whatever I want to do. And then it wasn't until I started really thinking that way more and more that Jeremy came into my life.
Right.
And I wasn't searching for anything. It just happened.
Right.
And at that point, I had already really learned more about who I was and what I wanted. Do I know more of that stuff now, like 4 years later? Absolutely. But I totally agree with take the time for yourself and start to do some things for yourself, and you start to learn about yourself really quickly.
I love that. I love that story. And I wish that other women could, come and share their story too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's through a podcast or, reach out to me. I'll put it on Facebook or something. Share your stories of independence and
Yeah.
finding yourself.
Where do you do these courses now for these women? Are you doing them at Moto as well?
No, I just do it online.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
it's like
Okay.
through Zoom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's also, I do audio recordings that I send to them after we meet on Monday nights. And then that way they kind of have homework to do
Yeah.
for the rest of the week. So that when we meet up again in the next week, they've already, been through the process several times throughout that week and have just learned more about themselves. And they do some journaling, which is really nice. And then they come back and we share, like what was your challenge of the week, or what were your successes of the week?
And this is a group. So you're doing like a group Zoom.
It's a
not
group
individual.
Zoom.
How many people do you roughly have in your group?
I have, I think I only wanted to do like 5 maximum.
Yeah.
Because we are sharing and it's, personal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we only have a limited time and girls like to talk.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh,
right?
Like I need to tack more minutes onto this session.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I have 3 women in this one, and so far 5 in the men in the next one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So I'm curious to see how like the men's sharing will go versus the ladies.
It'll probably won't go as deep, at least not right away.
It's hard to say. That's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I want to see how these guys open up.
Yeah, I bet I would assume that the first one would be just kind of very like just feeling stuff out.
Hey, my name's Bob, and that's about I'm single.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
Oh, I love it. That's really, really neat idea. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, my pleasure. I really like the group scenarios too, because then you realize like you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
And then you hear other people's stories in the group, and I see the girls like nodding, like in agreement.
And it gets you to share more. Then.
It does, yeah. And in that way, you do feel validated. You know, you're like, oh, I'm not the only one that feels, lonely or whatever, right?
Or feels like I need this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
That's really cool. I know you did an Instagram live.
Yes.
And that one was called Relaxation for Busy Minds.
Yes.
I think. Yes. So I did that. It was 30 minutes. It was really, really cool. Like at first I did everything you said. I closed my eyes. I was lying down and I was like, I don't think this is really working for me. But then the 30 minutes blew by so fast. I could have sworn it was 5 minutes or less. And it was like, not until you said wake up that I was like, oh my God, wow. That's it really, really worked.
I want to try this now.
It was crazy. So like we talked about like, oh, should we do a hypno on the podcast? But no, just in case y'all are driving, that would not be good.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to be responsible for
no.
So I'm
So
not going to hypnotize you.
Do not listen while
we're
driving.
not going to do it on here, but you have some saved on your Instagram, right?
I do. Yeah. You can check out my Instagram, Tash Vince, Vincze. I have some recordings on there, and I also just have audio recordings. So if you ever want to just reach out and buy one, I can just send it to you via email or WeTransfer.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really
like
cool.
That. Yeah.
Or you can come to group hypnotherapy sessions at Moto Yoga. We do chakra balancing. That was the last one. That was last Sunday. We do Meet Your Spirit Guide, which is really popular. We also do body restoration using crystals. And it's all these like metaphysical topics that I thought people wouldn't be super into, even though I am.
Yeah.
But those are actually the busiest ones.
Interesting.
So people are really open to that. Remember I was talking about the vibration levels, elevating? I think that's part of it. People are more interested in the metaphysical and how it can help and heal
More
them.
willing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the
Absolutely.
busy ones.
There's a lot of people that really swear by crystals.
Oh yeah.
I'm a crystal girl.
Huge.
Yes.
Big time.
Huge. Yes.
Some people keep crystals in their bra.
Yeah. I used to when I
used
was
to.
serving with
Yes.
you.
Really? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I have one on my key rings. I have it like every day.
Nice.
It's a rose quartz.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good one.
So what does rose quartz do?
That's for the heart center.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. The first time I was given a rose quartz crystal was from my ex, and it's a beautiful stone. And he wasn't home that day. I was holding on to it. I was sitting on our bed in the bedroom. And I just started feeling really sad, and for no reason whatsoever. I'm just sitting, staring out the window, holding this crystal for the first time. And then the sadness turned into tears, and the tears turned into sobbing. I was sobbing.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it. I was horrified. I had this crystal in my hand and I threw it away from me because I knew that it was the reason why I was sobbing. I didn't even know why. And then I Googled it, and it turns out that this crystal is supposed to open your heart center and help like release, like pain, emotional pain from the past.
Crazy.
And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So
Oh my
I've
God.
also heard this about moldavite.
Moldavite?
Yeah, I've heard that you're like, this is on TikTok, but I've seen like a few videos of people saying like, it's crazy. Like it opens up everything. Like things that are supposed to happen in your life happen, whether it's good or bad. And you just like,
Wow. I was going to say some of the crystals are pretty hardcore,
Yes.
and that is one of the hardcore ones. And I don't always even recommend it for everyone.
that's what it was basically saying is like, don't buy this unless you're
Yes.
willing just to like allow things to
yes,
happen.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be like a good like gateway crystal if you're just trying to like get into crystals?
I love that.
something that's like a little more chill.
A gateway crystal.
Well, it
Oh
depends on
my
what you
God.
need, but I love that. So if you just want to chill, I would get the grounding crystals. So anything that's really dark. So like black onyx, black tourmaline,
Okay.
smoky quartz. If you want more like joy or abundance,
yeah.
I always recommend citrine.
Citrine.
That's one of my
Ooh, yes,
favorites.
that's
It's
what
the
I
yellow
need.
ones. They're
Yes.
gorgeous. They because it's abundance. They say to like put it at your desk at work and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Good to know. We're gonna need to get some of that.
I want a whole
Let's
lot
just
of
have a
citrine.
huge big citrine right here.
Yeah.
I
There's
like that.
also crystals for sleeping. So if you have trouble sleeping, apparently amethyst is really great. I say apparently because I'm a really great sleeper. Or what was the other one? I'll think of it in a second. But yeah, it's green with pink dots and it's amazing.
Okay. Cool.
Are you supposed to recharge all of your crystals?
Yes. Well,
the
I don't say recharge, I say cleanse because a lot of them are absorbent.
Okay.
So they're pulling in negative energy from your body and it stores it until you clean and clear it. So
Oh.
I recommend in those crystal workshops that I host to rinse the crystals under cold water with the intention of just cleaning it or clearing it. Or you can smudge it, which is like a shamanic practice, right? And so you would take sage, burn the sage, it becomes smoky, and then you kind of wave the smoke over the crystals again with the intention of clearing negative energy.
Interesting.
But you
met
can
April?
recharge them. Which April?
Have you met our friend April from OJ's?
Yes,
I have,
Yes, you
yes.
have.
Yeah, okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say you guys would just be like crystal,
Yeah.
crystalling it up.
Totally, yeah.
Shout out
she's
to
great.
April.
Hi, April.
Hi, April. Shout out.
Hi, April.
But you can recharge your crystals too in the sunlight. Not all of them you should because it can bleach them. But you can also charge your crystals on the full moon.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
Yes.
moonlight.
I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
my friends do that. On
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the more effective ways apparently to do that, and I've tried it and it's great, is you take a mirror and you put the crystals on the mirror. I actually clear them first before boosting it with the moon. And then you put the mirror out on the deck in the full moon, and it's like double moon power.
Double moon power. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
that's so
love this.
cool.
Yes. I only have the rose quartz. That's the only crystal I have.
Okay.
And I got it from April because Amethyst Forest donated to us at Christmas time. We were doing a whole contest series.
Nice.
And so Amethyst Forest helped us out. So I
Nice.
bought some rose quartz.
That's
And I love it.
beautiful.
Yeah, I just keep it on my key ring. So I
Yeah.
have it every day with me.
Honestly, that's the one I use the most when I'm upset. You know, if like I had a hard day at work or something, it sounds crazy. Like Tash have a hard day teaching yoga, but yes, actually,
Yeah.
it's a real job.
They can be long days and you're dealing with people and energy and everything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like with Moto, we can fit like 40 people in the studio, and my
Wow.
classes are pretty busy. So you would have like 40 people, you know, in one class, and then they're leaving, and another 40 people come for the next class.
You're-
so that's like
you're
80
on
people.
all
That's
day.
the thing. I'm
Yeah.
just like giving, right? And they are shedding
Yes.
throughout the class, and it's really hard not to absorb their energy, especially as an empath.
Yeah.
But I do try to clear the energy. If you've been to my yoga class, I use a Tibetan bowl, singing bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
I like ding it and
Yeah.
play it, and that helps apparently to clear the energy. That's what a psychic told me to use, and everybody loves it. And but that can only do so much. And then after, when I get home, I'll take a shower because that's a really great way to cleanse your energy from the day. But I also hold a rose quartz crystal in my hand, and it only takes about like 5 minutes before I actually feel better. And it doesn't even matter if like it's a placebo effect; it's
It
still
works.
working.
Exactly.
Placebo is still working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I
whether it's
believe
the
in it
rock or
just
not.
because that first time, like I said, I was holding it, sitting on the bed, bawling
Yeah.
my eyes out for no reason whatsoever. That made me a believer.
Do you think that might have had a even 1% to do with the person who gave it to you?
We're not going there.
That's a yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. This has been very enlightening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
I'm
learned
loving
a
this.
lot. This is great.
Right.
So are you still doing the tarot card business?
Yeah. So I also read tarot.
She is the jack of all
I
trades.
do a little bit of
When it comes to
everything.
enlightenment, for sure.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to bring my cards today, but I totally forgot. Sorry,
okay.
everyone. But yeah, I read the Rider Waite tarot deck, which is like considered the classic tarot deck. And I'll do like tarot readings for friends and paying customers. But I also actually bring the tarot cards into my hypnotherapy sessions.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So a client will come and sit down and we'll talk about their needs. and how I can help them. And then before I put them into trance, I ask them, hey, do you want to pull a tarot card? And I always expect someone to be like, no, that's weird. But not a single client to this date has said no, even if they don't believe in it.
Really?
Just the
Well, 'cause why
curiosity,
not?
they
Yeah.
can't
Exactly.
help
Why
it.
not?
Yeah. So I kind of fan out the cards on the table and they pick a card. And I believe it's your spirit guides who are choosing the cards for you.
Yeah.
And it's just my job to interpret. And I really like that they pull a card because I always ask the spirit guides, you know, what information am I missing that I need to help this person?
Oh.
And so they'll pull a card and then I'll describe the card to them. And then we go from there. And it's almost always has to do with their healing, but not every time. Sometimes it's just prophetic. Like for example, one lady pulled a card and it had to do with like her work situation and how she kind of had to hustle in a way that she doesn't normally have to hustle. And she was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. And then 2 days later, she messaged me and she goes, oh, our secretary got sick and then we all had to hustle and like pick up, you know, her slack or whatever while she was gone. Yeah. So sometimes it doesn't speak to the session itself, but just gives you a little heads up of what's coming down the road.
I could see that. I always feel that way about getting my tea leaves read.
Right.
I always usually will record them. And, you know, some stuff that she says, I always go to the same lady, Marilyn at Calico Cat. I've never seen anybody else. And that's how I find sometimes is like certain things that she says, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then, you know, I always either record it or write it down what she's saying. And you look back at it and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly, this is my life. How did she know? You know, it's crazy.
It's freaky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. I've always been interested in getting my tarot cards read. I've never had it done before.
You haven't?
No.
Okay, well, come on over.
Yes, I was going to say, next time I see you, we better make it happen.
Absolutely.
Because you got yours read.
I was going to say,
Yes. Yeah. Tash was at my birthday party. And every time we had the birthday party at our girlfriend Chelsea's house. And Chelsea has her own deck of tarot cards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She reads tarot cards too?
Well, she has like the book. She doesn't like read them, but like, you know, you can pull a card and then you can like read
the book.
What that card is supposed to mean to you. But yeah, every time we go to Chelsea's, we always get out the cards. So like that's what we did always.
It's a thing.
So yeah, Tash read my cards on my birthday and I feel like it was just so accurate.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me think of a story that Chelsea, the girl we were talking about, she actually reached out to me in December or something. And she goes, a friend of mine, child, like he's like 18 or something, went missing. And like, can you use your cards to like help us find him?
Wow.
So I pulled some cards and I saw that he was actually totally fine and just didn't necessarily want to be found.
Right.
Which, you know, is not really what the parent wants to hear.
Yeah.
And so Chelsea's like, oh, okay, sure, that's it. And I'm like, that's all I'm getting. And so she's like, okay. And then maybe a month later, she reached out again. She's like, he's still missing.
Oh my God.
So can you pull some cards? So I pulled some cards and I said, it looks like he's still totally fine. He just doesn't want to be found. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, I don't have any extra information. I'm sorry. Like, that's all they're telling me. She's like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. And then about a week later, she gets back to me and she's like, okay, so the police were called and they did find the young man, but the young man told the police, don't tell the parents where I am because I'm old enough to not like to make my own decisions.
Wow.
And he says, I don't want to be found.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, but
so
like,
tarot's a real
that's
thing, people.
amazing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think it's also just, it's about how you interpret it. Right. And
Definitely.
So, and I would assume every tarot card reader is different and how they're going to interpret things. But I would assume that there's certain cards that it's a pretty straightforward that's
definitely
the interpretation.
Definitely. You know, sometimes it comes through crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no wrong interpretation there. I can say like 100%, yes, you're getting that job, for example.
Yeah.
And other times it's quite murky. And then I say, look, I just don't have enough information to make any guarantees. And
Take this with whatever you
a grain of
feel.
salt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other times it's like, bang, right on the money. Like, for example, a friend of mine came over and she's like, hey, can we pull a card? And I said, sure. And I pulled the pregnancy card and I'm like, you're not pregnant, are you? And she's like, actually, that's why I'm here.
No
I
way.
wanted to talk to you about that.
Oh my God.
Isn't that
that's so
unreal?
weird.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
This is kind of how I feel like this. Sorry, I keep hitting this because it's like right behind me. This is kind of how I feel about astrology. Like,
Yep.
I find it so crazy that you can literally be born like on a specific day at a specific time, and yet everything about astrology just speaks specifically to who you are as a person. And yet, if you were born the next day, it would be completely different.
Even an hour later, it would be different.
And how weird is that?
I know. It's
You know,
a
like
trip.
I was 3 weeks early, and yet everything about
yes.
me is exactly
too.
really.
Yes.
That's funny. But
Very
like,
funny.
how weird is that? That's why I love astrology, because I just think it's so interesting how you can pinpoint exactly to a person based on where your moon was,
Yes.
what sign you're born in,
Yes,
everything.
you need the whole chart to get that much detail. You can do a little bit by sun sign.
Yeah.
It's a hobby of mine to like guess people's sun
Oh,
signs.
that's cool.
Yeah, like when I first
Ooh.
meet them.
I like that.
Yeah, it's fun. Like for example, I was at the bank a few years ago, and the bank
Tash is
teller.
just, like, guessing people.
This is how she meets. She knows every single person in town, by the way.
I know that. You want to know why? Because the first time I met Tash, you were at Sky and Taylor's, and I was like, oh, cool, Tash. And then I saw you again like a week later somewhere at your
At my birthday party.
and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, Tash, that's so weird. And then I feel like I saw you again somewhere else, and I'm like, why do you know all of my friends, and yet I've never met you before?
Our friend Chelsea's like, you literally know everyone.
Everybody.
She knows everyone.
Okay, anyways, bank teller.
So then I was at the bank, and and she's just like handing me the cash, but I'm looking at her hands, and because you can tell people's signs just by their physical appearance. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna guess, are you a Cancer? And she was really taken aback. She's like, how did you know? Yeah. And I'm like, by your hands.
Oh my God.
She's like, what? You can tell my sun sign by my hands? I'm like, yeah, believe it or not.
I love that.
Okay.
Can
So
you, sorry, go.
do shares if you don't know when her
I know
birthday is.
Cher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
go first.
We should do Marcus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Marcus.
I am getting a bit of a Libra vibe, but I've only just looked at him.
Okay, he hasn't even talked. He hasn't.
No,
even
he hasn't
said
even
anything.
talked.
So
He doesn't. Oh, okay. Are you going to share?
come on, tell us what you're.
When's your birthday?
I'm a Leo.
Leo.
I'm actually very surprised by that. Jeremy's a Leo too, and I'm surprised by that too.
Jeremy doesn't seem like a Leo.
No.
Doesn't seem like a Leo.
No,
at
he's an
all.
exception to the rule for
He
sure.
really is.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say there's a TikTok that's like really popular right now, and it's one person being like, "Oh, so what's my like sign?" And they're like, "Oh, you're a Cancer." They're like, Cancer, like that's a thing, and like, yeah, and they're like, "Okay, well, what does my sign look like?" And they're like, "It's a 69," and they're like, "What? Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, well, what's like the animal that represents us?" And they're like, "It's a crab." And they're like, "I've got crabs now?" Like, what? It's so funny. Every
love that.
time I'm like just killing myself laughing every time I see one. It's so funny.
Oh, that is
Like,
funny.
sorry, Cancers, you just got like the shit end of the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Kurt's a Cancer, and
Yeah.
he just hates the word Cancer.
Right.
And he is like so upset that
he's a
that's his
Cancer?
sign. Yes.
Aw,
That's unfortunate.
poor guy.
I don't mind being Aquarius. Doesn't really bother me.
I think they're all the signs are great. There's like pros and cons to all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I meet people, even if I'm not interested in like dating them, I'll still look up their chart just to like see what they're about. And I find like for me personally, I can relate to them better when I know
can see that.
because like their sign is almost like their language.
Yes.
And so I start like altering my language to suit theirs just so that we're kind of like more on the same page. Is
I'd
it-
say that would be very beneficial to do when meeting somebody
Absolutely.
and getting into a relationship with them. For sure.
Definitely. I'm not going to lie, people. I will look at a guy's chart and decide not to date him based on particular planetary
I would do
that
the same
too.
thing.
I would totally do that. 100% I would.
If I'm ever single again, I will never ever date a Leo.
Oh
No.
my God, Jeremy. Sorry. Allie wouldn't date
Sorry,
you.
Jeremy.
I feel the same way
think
about
you'll be okay.
Gemini
Yeah.
energy. No offense. I have a Gemini rising.
Yeah.
So it's definitely against myself as well. But it's weird because I'll attract Geminis like moth to a flame.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gemini sun rising,
Oh, I wouldn't want
Venus,
to date
moon.
a Gemini guy.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
All of the guys who ask me out are Gemini.
Of course.
Do you believe that certain astrological signs are more like destined to be together or work together?
Yeah, they're
better?
more compatible for
Yeah.
sure. But I never do it at like just a sun sign.
Right.
Yeah.
I always do like a chart, like for example, I know this girl, she's dating. Okay, what is she? She's an Aquarius as well.
Mm-hmm.
But she's dating a Scorpio. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting combo. And I said, like, how's your communication? And she said, really well. And I'm like, oh, that's very surprising. Let's look at your chart. And then I opened up her chart and she has Aquarius sun, but everything else is in Cancer. And Cancer is very compatible with Scorpio. So I was like, oh, then it makes sense now.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom's a Scorpio, and her two of her close friends are also Scorpios. So they're always joking with each other that like anything that they have in their personality or anything is like, she's a Scorpio. That's why she's so
just blame it on the
giftless.
Scorpio.
Like, yeah, just blame it on Scorpio.
I love Scorpio. I love Scorpio ladies. I've had multiple Scorpio roommates and they are just the best. The best. Yeah, I just love them. I don't even know why, because we're not like compatible.
Yeah.
So I'm an Aries. Aries and Scorpio is not particularly compatible.
isn't that
It's
so
more
interesting?
combustible than
I don't know
compatible.
any of this stuff.
Combustible. I like that.
I don't know any of this.
Yeah,
stuff.
but it works. But yeah, people, if you ever want to find out if your relationship is meant to be, try getting your charts,
Yes.
read. They're read in conjunction with each other. And there's in India, for example, they do arranged marriages based on astrological charts.
Right.
And
I didn't
they,
know that.
and
I knew they did arranged marriages, but I didn't realize
it's based on astrology. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So they're actually looking for particular aspects that would be like long-term, marriage style aspects. And that's what he looks at when you or she, when you have two charts, you kind of squish them together and see, okay, do they have like the marriage aspects? Do they have the longevity aspects? Do they have the open communication aspects? And then they can say like yay or nay, your relationship
Not
is going to make
spicy.
it.
You're not looking for spicy.
Well,
spice
you do need
per
some
se.
spice.
You need some spice, but you don't like
You
too
need-
spicy.
No, yeah, exactly. Because it'll just burn out and fizz out.
Yeah.
Where do you go to get your charts read?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I just read my own charts, so I don't go outside of
I actually
myself
have
to look.
I think a good website. I have my chart saved in my bookmarks. Actually.
If you want to do your own chart, like on Google, you can go to Astrolabe.
Yes, that's what it is.
Astrolabe.
We'll put a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
Astrolabe.
That's what Allie had.
That's exactly what I have here.
If you want your accurate birth chart, you need to know the time of your birth.
yes.
That because you can only get so much information without it.
Yeah,
It's
that makes
you get
sense.
like half the information.
Yeah.
Because your rising sign is the time of birth. And that actually changes all of the houses. If you know anything about astrology, your houses will be based on that. So if you don't have your time of birth, you won't know which houses are where.
That was like a big meme for a while. It was like all the millennials wanted to know like the time of that they were birthed because it was like everyone was trying to do astrology.
Oh, really? I love that. It's funny because like growing up, this was like my hobby, astrology. And people were not into it at all. Like when I was like 14, I'm 40 now. And I was made fun of so often,
Really?
all the
Really?
time, to the point where I just like didn't even talk about it anymore.
Oh my god.
And then I think I reached like 30, so like 10 years ago, and people started asking me about it. And I was like, oh, I don't have to like hide it anymore.
People are actually interested. They want to know.
Yeah. I feel like they caught up in that sense, in the metaphysical sense. People are actually interested now. Whereas before I was mocked.
Yeah. Do you think that might have to do with Alberta? I think people in
Probably,
BC
yes.
are a
I
little
grew
more
up-
open to that kind of
I
stuff.
grew up in Cowtown.
More.
Yeah.
I grew up in Cochrane and Calgary, Alberta. And yeah, it's just a bunch of farmers.
Yeah. They're not into
Cowboys.
that stuff.
I would say yes. Coming out to BC was a lot more forthcoming with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's a better place for me to be on the island.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth? Gosh.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you for coming, Tash.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies. for
Tell
having me.
everybody where they can find you.
So I am on Instagram, tashvinze.ca. I'm also on Facebook. I also teach at Moto Yoga Nanaimo Deference Studio and at Solace Wellness Center. And if you want to book a hypnotherapy session with me, you can contact me at hypnotash@gmail.com.
Yay.
Perfect. We'll tag all of these things.
Yes,
Thank
we will.
you.
Cool.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.
Yes,
It's
it was
been
great to have
fun.
you on. And next time
My
you're
pleasure.
on, we're going to have to do a tarot card reading.
Yes, I'll remember the cards next time.
But no hypnotherapy.
No.
Perfect. Okay, well, we're going to take a short break.
And we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We're back.
We're back.
Tasha's still here.
We
Hello.
realized I thought we had only been talking for at least half an hour.
I thought it was like 20 minutes.
and it
too.
was 55 minutes.
So, good
So
job.
we're not going to go as deep in, well, we're not going to even touch the stag yet because
That'll be next
be next week's. But I do have a couple of random things that I just want to talk about.
Yeah.
So my first thing, I went into Garage Clothing a couple weeks ago before the stag. So I guess that was last
Hey,
week.
we talked about this already.
Did we talk about it? I don't think so.
When you went to buy like the cami.
Okay, so then I had to wait in line forever,
Yes.
right? Okay, so I went in again.
Okay.
I went in
Different time.
again.
Okay.
I walk in and I'm like, everything in here looks like it's from the early 2000s. Like it's like these tennis skirts are in fashion.
I love a tennis
the
skirt.
plaid skirts again.
Mhm.
The crop tops that like look like the shirts are recycled from 2000 and they've just cut off and now it's a crop top.
They had
these,
them
like,
in the back of the warehouse.
Yes,
this whole time.
like tennis dresses, and I was like, okay, this is weird. And then Chris Brown's Forever is playing, and I was like, okay. And then while I'm in there, it then changes to Gwen Stefani's Sweet Escape.
Stop it.
Yes, and then
love it.
you know that Paper Plane song, like
Yeah.
I get high like I don't even know.
MIA.
Yes,
Yeah.
MIA. Okay. And I was like, I used to work here in the early 2000s, and I'm just getting
You did?
crazy flashbacks
Nice.
of listening to these songs when they first came out on
That's crazy.
repeat, and now they're playing them again because it's cool.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
It's bizarre.
It is bizarre. But you know what? I think you look exactly the same as you did back then.
Yes.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Cher does not age.
No.
I think I'll probably stay looking this way for quite a long time, which I'm into. But at the same time, it's like, why is everything popular now that was popular
It just
then? Get
recycles.
your own
Everything
thing.
recycles.
It's
Oh, yeah.
weird.
Fashion is cyclical.
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 Yeah.
She can't even say
I
cyclical.
can't talk.
Can't even say cyclical. Okay, my next thing. So remember how we were talking about your experience at Victoria's Secret
Uh-huh.
and about how you had like way too much customer service?
Too much hands-on.
So I
much.
went to Galaxy after our last podcast. We went and saw F9.
Oh, the movie theater.
Sorry, yes. I had the exact opposite of your experience.
That's also terrible.
It
So
is.
we go in. There is a family of, say, 4 in one line and
Mhm.
another couple, and then the 3 of us. We wait in line. There's like nobody else in there. Waiting. We're waiting for at least 5 minutes. No movement. So then another line opens up. The couple in front of us moves over there. We're waiting at least, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, we're waiting at least another 5 minutes. Nothing has happened.
When you're trying to get to a movie.
You're trying to
Right.
get to a movie and all I want
At a
is a
specific time.
popcorn. Like
I was
that's
going to say,
literally
you want
it.
your treats.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I want.
It's not too much to ask.
It's really not. And I'm watching and they're all just moving like with zero urgency. I should not have to be in a line for over 10 minutes with only 2 other like customers there. Nothing.
Agreed.
Nobody seemed to care about anything.
Yeah.
Drove me crazy.
Yeah.
So now I won't go there again. Boycott. Boycott.
Wow.
kind of.
Yes.
Well, we don't really have any other options.
I'm just
here.
joking, but I will go there again. But it frustrates me because I've been in customer service and I don't understand why there's no urgency sometimes.
Oh,
And for something,
It's like that everywhere. And
just these days and ages though, like because it's younger people working at those places
and they don't care.
They not really.
But the thing is like because I now got to the point where I started to think maybe I don't need this popcorn. Maybe I'm just going to go and sit down.
That's the opposite of what they want you to think.
Exactly. And I was always taught, we've had this at the restaurant too, if you give people an opportunity to where they now decide that they're going to leave or they're going to
second guess their purchase,
take it.
then they're exactly.
Absolutely. Well, this happened when we were, I won't say which one because we had overall a great experience, but we were at a winery at the Stagette, and one of the girls wanted to purchase a bottle of wine. And there was just nobody at any of the tills. There was just nobody there. So she's like, you know what? I've been waiting over 5 minutes.
I'm not willing to wait.
She put it back on the shelf. She did not buy it.
Yeah.
It's like, it shouldn't be that hard to give people your money.
No.
Well, yeah. Like I always make the joke, like I'm literally standing here with my credit card. I just need someone to get my money and no one will.
No one will.
Yeah.
We've had that before. I was with one of my friends, Logan. Shout out to Logan. We were at a restaurant, and granted they were busy, but we sat at the bar and nobody came over. Nobody even acknowledged us
a lot.
for at least 10 minutes, enough where we were actually able to call another restaurant, make a takeout order, and then leave and go there.
Wow.
And the bartender who was working at the time messaged me and said, I'm so sorry. Like, we're just so busy. And I said, fair enough. Totally get it. I've been there. I'm like, but just so you know, you guys gave me enough time to decide I didn't want to stay here.
Yeah. Even just the smallest acknowledgement makes a huge difference.
I'm so busy.
I'll be right there.
Yeah. Cool. That's all I need. But when you're working right in front of me and you don't even look up at me and acknowledge me, sorry.
Time to leave.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So that was then my third thing I wanted to say. This is a really small thing, but one of my pet peeves is when people make the subject line of the email the message and then they don't write anything in the body. It drives me insane.
Yes.
And then I type in the body and then they respond to that message with another message that's in the subject line and not in the body. Drives me absolutely insane.
I've never seen this before ever.
Okay, this happens to me all the time in real estate.
I hate it.
People will put the property address as like the subject
line.
Right.
And then they'll just write, I would like to see this, or is this available? And then sometimes if I'm just not paying enough attention, I'm like, what are they talking about? What property? And then I realize, it's in the subject. But like, you can do that, but then be like, hey, I saw this property, address. Is it still available? I would like to see it.
Exactly.
It's not that hard.
I got one the other day that was like, what's so-and-so's email in the subject line? And I was like, so I responded. I'm like, here it is. And then the response back was, oh, thanks. I got a hold of them.
That was the subject?
That was the subject.
Wow.
They were both subjects.
Maybe they think they're texting you at that point.
I don't know, but I'm sorry. Like, get it together.
Not acceptable.
No. Drives me crazy.
Okay, on that note, to piggyback on that, it's like also when
to piggyback
on that, when people spell your name wrong or call you the wrong name in an
when
email,
it's
when it's like
in this,
my
in
email
the
is Allie@thebaldguy.ca, and then I've had people go, hi Ashley, and I'm like, you had to type in my name.
Yes, Cheryl, Sherry, Shara, Chris.
Whoa.
I've gotten before. Like,
wow,
come on. I will give it to you though. Like, autocorrect does
true.
So,
but still,
just saying.
Sure, but
proofread your work.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yeah, like I had, we were looking for a cleaning service, and it's in my signature, and it's my email, and I did an input like contact form on their website with my name. And yet they keep calling me Cheryl, and then they call me, oh, hi Cheryl, and I'm like, it's actually Cher, and then I keep getting emails, and I'm like, come on. So it makes you just want to be like, oh well, you're welcome, Ashley, even though their name's not. You know,
I just started correcting people. Actually, it's Allie. Because I feel like I've had like older male realtors email me or send me messages, and it'll be like, they'll call me Ashley, or they'll spell my name just completely wrong. And then I always correct them because I feel like it's like a power move. Yeah. Kind of on like the male's part to be like, oh, you're just like dumb, like young girl. I'll just call you Ashley or whatever the hell. And you're not even going to say anything. So I'll be like, no, like this is my name. Like it's usually like some prominent male realtor who's like big in town. And I'm like, no, I'm just not going to accept that.
I always correct people with my name because it's
Yeah.
Tash, not Tasha.
Right.
And
Yes.
for some reason, guys in particular always call me Tasha. And I'm
course.
not sure where that's coming from.
Mhm.
But I, like you, always correct them. I'm like, I've never been a Tasha in my entire
Yeah.
life. I
Yeah.
won't respond to that.
Exactly.
It's just Tash. And they're like, okay, thanks, Tasha.
Oh, well, because it's short for Natasha, but
Yeah.
that's like my name is short for Alexandra. And sometimes when people see that, they shorten my name to Alex.
Alex.
And I am absolutely not an Alex.
Right.
That is not my name.
You've never gone by that name.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, and I'll never
You
go
wouldn't
by
even
Alexandra
turn,
anyway, but
yeah.
at least that's my name legally.
Mhm.
But like, no, it's not Alex. Don't call me Alex. It's usually telemarketers that get my name.
I
And
can
then
see
they're like,
that.
hi, Alex. I'm like, no.
No.
No, sorry.
Sorry, Alex doesn't live here.
Yeah.
My mom always taught me that that's the one thing that you were given that's true to you.
Yes.
So don't let people fuck it up because
Nice.
like that's your name.
Right. And actually, because of that, I am conscientious when it comes to learning people's names and how they say it.
How
and
they
people
say it.
will go out of their way to say, like, "Oh, I really appreciate that you said my name correctly."
Yes.
I'm like, I know because I have the same issue.
Yeah. I know Ellen was kind of in like a lot of hot water for a bit there with mispronouncing people's names. And forgive me because this goes against what I'm trying to say, but there was an actor that was on there and he specifically said, if you can pronounce like Benedict Cumberbatch, then you can pronounce my name, you know?
Right.
And so really that it is, I always do the exact same thing. I want to know how to pronounce your name because
Yeah.
it's your name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want you to feel like
Mhm.
I'm respecting you.
Yeah, and acknowledging you.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are my 3 little things that I had to say.
Perfect.
Love it.
I mean, if we were talking about the stag, we could talk for another like hour, but we'll
Yeah.
save that.
Next time.
We'll save it. We'll do a whole episode about it.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, this has been very fun.
This has been amazing.
Thanks again, ladies, for having
Yes,
me.
Thanks
thank
for
you for
coming.
coming.
My
Thank
pleasure.
You're a
Very
second
fun.
guest. That's a high honor, I would say.
I'm wearing a tiara right now.
Those of you who are just listening, she actually is wearing a tiara. Those of you who are watching, you know
She's
that
not.
she's
No.
not. Okay, well, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
Well, follow us at Bitches in Business without the I.
On all
my
platforms.
Instagram is at Allie Morrison and at what's your
At Cher Row.
at Cher Row. Oh, I wasn't sure.
I'm
It's
like, I
Cheryl.
could have said that.
I thought it might have been Sherilyn or something.
What? You
We
know
just
that
had this conversation.
my Instagram handle is at Cher Row. Although I've been considering changing it when I get married because like
What's
I
Jeremy's
change it?
last name?
Watt.
Okay.
Cher Watt.
It sounds weird.
Share what row?
That's what I would like to do. I would like to
I like it.
hyphenate it. Jeremy's not into that.
No?
So I think that I might do that though with my Instagram and everything is change it to like Cher Watt Row.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
Makes sense.
You should do whatever makes you happy.
That's right.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.